And one of the people with live. Thank you. I was here until 5, and I was like trying to no problem. Everyone's no, there's one I have for the reflection. No. Thank you. You're welcome.
Can I have everybody's attention, please? Welcome. I know. Just want to welcome everybody to the town board meeting, April 13th, 2026. Will you please stand for the pledge? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everybody get to read the minutes, the March minute? Review them?
Yes.
You did, Danny? Janet, did you guys do that?
Yes.
Okay. I make a motion that we accept the minutes for the March meeting, March 23rd.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. We're gonna skip the supervisor's report for now, and we'll go right to the public comment period. So who would like to be first? Go ahead, Jeff.
You can be first. I'm concerned
State your
that
name.
Lee Bosberg from the Hamlet. I had been to most of the town board meetings last year, not like some previous members. But in those meetings, I had never heard anything about the software expiring for the website. Can you give me a little information on when you found that out and how soon was it to expire and what the status is now?
I will cover part of that. I guess I'll say a few words.
Okay.
So I'll cover part of that in my report on the technology and the website. When we, in my first conversations with ITS, shortly after taking office in January, they called our attention to the fact that the town website was near obsolete within 3 weeks. And so we asked them to go ahead and update the website so that it is no longer obsolete.
But it had been notified for a period of time before we came into office that the site needed updates, and they were not. with them.
Ob-
And we're not
obviously,
done.
You know, obviously Deborah, I didn't have that experience since I wasn't in office.
No, neither did I. But that was what we learned from ITS, that there was information given that the website needed updates and that it was becoming out of date. And in fact, problems with, could affect security and also eventually ADA compliance. And what ITS said is that the web, the updates were not approved. So when we came in and we started, David and I on the technology committee, started to talk to him, and he said that was the case and that we needed to do it because otherwise it would have to be expired in 3 months. We would have to update it. So right now at this point it has been, and I'm sure David's going to talk more about that.
That's a pretty serious problem in the fact that the town is trying to be transparent and communicate with the community. And I just find that it was shocking that it was never mentioned at town board meetings. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amy.
I need copies. Kelly Halloran. So I was at Cornell Park. I started to weed around the gazebo and I noticed that one of the benches had been pulled up out of its anchors in the ground so that it could be placed in front of the fire pit that somebody had made alongside of the river. And so I contacted the garage. They're going to come get the bench because of course I lugged it home so they wouldn't throw it in the river. So I decided to make a couple of notes. I think probably the board's probably aware that New Baltimore's on the Greene County Historical tour this year, and I know that people will be stopping at the gazebo, certainly parking at the gazebo, probably because of Mrs. Sherman's house being on it, and Dave's gonna open up his workshop. So I thought this is a good time to see if we could get some repairs made. There's 2 things that are a complicated factor. So just dealing with the gazebo, we don't know who gouged the wood out of the walls of the gazebo and pulled out the bench. I don't know how you repair wood gouges. I don't know if putty can be put in place. I don't know how that's replaced. So the paint is peeling and the paint needs to be done. We don't need to replace the roof right away, but that is an issue of that eventually the roof does need to be replaced. At the sewer treatment substation, the rotted walls around the sewer treatment are actually a hazard. If anybody parks close to it and tries to get out, they're completely dilapidated. And it's my understanding that they were used maybe by some miscreants to stand on them so they could access the roof of the sewer treatment plant and pull off the shingles. And there are shingles littered around the sewer treatment plant. So the gates to the sewer treatment plant need to be repainted. So it's my understanding when you go down to the gazebo, you talk to the striper fishermen. It's just a way of life. It's my understanding that there have been kids on 4-wheelers and ATVs riding around the lawn. I can only assume that it's the same kids who built the fire pit and tore the bench out so they could sit in front of the fire pit. Apparently, we don't have a sign that says no 4-wheelers on the lawn of Cornell Park. Apparently, we don't have a sign that says no burning at Cornell Park. I don't know, with the burn ban in effect, who would give notification to anybody sitting in front of a fire pit along the water side. You know, my thought is there's a big pile of wood debris that was left over from the big storm that we had. And if one of those sparks had gone over to that debris, it potentially could have become hazardous. So I don't know where funding for the sewer treatment plant comes from, and I don't know where park maintenance comes from. So I don't know if we need to have the signs so that somebody could tell the kids, the sign's right there, you can't have your 4-wheelers on the lawn. I don't know if we put up a sign that says you can't be burning, if that's enforceable, who enforces that, I don't know. So the wood debris pile would need to be taken care of. And if we do, this is just me being picky, keep Cornell Park pretty, putting the signs like over to the right, not when you first enter the park. I don't like to ruin the view of the gazebo and the river. So if we had to place them over on the side. So just on a completely separate note, the kayak ramp will need to be addressed at some point because it's just so hazardous. Even I only entered once in New Baltimore last year because I don't want to break an ankle coming in and out of it. So that's something to think about in the future. I just want to talk quickly about the traffic. I know that I live on a particularly dangerous corner of 144. Not everybody has the same experience as I do. Not everybody sees the situation that I do, but I did try and reach out to the state troopers that are in charge of weights and measurements by phone and by email, and it might be surprising that they did not respond to me. So maybe you guys could have some input of whether or not these salt trucks are overweight, whether the recycle trucks really scare me. If the salt trucks tip over, okay. But the Kingston recycling that's coming through with all the scrap metal, if they tip over, that's gonna be a serious hazard. So I would like to see if we could just ask sheriffs to get an eyeball. The salt trucks obviously are not going now, but the dump trucks have increased for some reason. Heidelberg Trucking has increased, Troy Topsoil has increased, the Kingston Recycling. And let me tell you, I have personally called all three of these companies to ask them to look up the blind corner on 144 so that they were not putting their drivers in a potentially dangerous situation. I have asked my bus driver, she has told me that she has to move over to the side of the road when the salt trucks were going by. I have seen the trucks come nose to nose. So I have a lot of experience that other people might not have living on that corner. So that's all for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Welcome.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Bill McDonald. I reside at 28 Valley View Drive in West Coxsackie. I also happen to be a planning board member. And I would like to address the board this evening about a concern that I was recently made aware of, where the town supervisor has accessed all employees' records, bypassing any regulations that were required to obtain those records. I had subsequently made a complaint with the state police, and the state police had gotten back to me to indicate that they spoke to the town supervisor, who admitted taking all 25 employees' records from the building at the direction of the town highway superintendent. I'd like to know what actions the board has taken since they learned about this, and what legal actions they intend to be taking in the near future about. And I apologize, I have to work tonight, so I can't stay late to spend too much time on this, but I would like it addressed. Will there be any?
Alan wants to respond. Oh, I think this gentleman wants to know if he'll get any answers tonight.
I did phase it in a question, so I
No,
would
I
anticipate an
understand
answer.
that, and it's a public comment period. I've been advised not to say anything during the public comment period. So, thank you for your concern.
Could you address the residents' concerns at some point during the meeting?
I also think that it's only fair that if there was a breach of information that belonged to particular individuals, that at some point the board should notify the members that in fact there was a breach. I have not received any specific information from, in an official capacity from the town, which I believe is also wrong. If there's any sort of breach, it should be addressed. Not just here in a public forum, but also to the actual individuals who have been affected. And I, to date, have not received any official response from the town, which is completely wrong. So hopefully you can address it sooner than later.
Okay, thank you. Alan? Okay.
Robin, Sawmill Road. No surprise, up here addressing the same thing Bill just addressed. Some time ago, we don't even know when, files, confidential files, town employees were removed from a secure location. And it's been weeks. People still weren't notified that this happened. I talked to some people, employees, that, well, they're finding out just now. But I think we really deserve some answers. Like, where were the files taken to? Did they sit on somebody's kitchen table? Or were they secured? I mean, this is serious. How long were they gone? We don't know that. Who had access to them when they were gone? Was there copies made, pictures taken? Big question, why were they taken? All of them. I believe the current employees, I don't know about any retired employees, whether their information was taken too. Was anything removed from the files? These are all things that employees really deserve to know. And also, will this kind of action be happening again? This is very inconsiderate to employees of this town. This is confidential information. And it's been weeks. People weren't even notified, much less any answers. And there's been some people that say this should have been handled quietly. Well, this is serious. And I keep hearing this word transparency. Sorry, I'm not staying here. So I appreciate your time, and I do hope this matter will get some serious consideration. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. Alan?
You're getting comment?
Alan Van Warlen, Town Highway Superintendent. I just want to make the record clear. My name was mentioned. I had nothing, zero to do with this. So my name needs to be cleared.
Thank you.
My name is Harold Batman, I'm a resident of the hamlet in Baltimore. Just a couple prefatory remarks on some of the comments that were made before. Mr. Fowle, there's a clear distinction to be made between obsolete and in need of update. The previous town board had a functional website. It functioned well. I used it many times. If it needed update, granted. However, it was not obsolete. As a matter of fact, the current website does not provide all of the information that the former website did. And as a matter of fact, I had to contact the clerk's office today to get the information I needed that was already on the last website under the previous administration. Second comment would be, let's drop the slurs and the intimations about the former administration of this municipality. They did their job. They did their job to the best of their ability. Occasionally, they had occasion to answer to me and to other residents. However, we move forward. We don't look back and start poking fingers at the previous administration. So let's just be mature adults and move forward here and do what you have to do in a proper manner. As to the comments on the park, I presume that all of the alleged juvenile offenders have parents. So let's look at the parents, and perhaps we can forego the signing. I'd like to address the problem that that Mr. McCullough addressed and Mr. Van Etten. I'd like to point out that I served upon every one of the members of this town board a clear email outlining the laws and the requirements of this town board to assure the confidentiality of personal information. The town clerk statutorily, under several statutes, is clearly the town records management officer and the public information officer, as well as being the records access officer and the records management officer. These are statutorily established. Furthermore, town law power, section 30 states that the town clerk is the sole, well, my word, the sole custodian of town, all town records. No one on this town board has the authority, statutory, moral, or otherwise, to access the sanctity of the town clerk's office, to violate the sanctity of that office, to gain access to the records room without the knowledge and approval and authorization of the town clerk. She is the sole town officer with the authority to handle town records. If you need something, you go through the town clerk or through her deputies. Taking advantage, scurrilously taking advantage of her absence to unlawfully and illicitly access confidential and private information of town employees is absolutely unacceptable. This is a matter for the State Comptroller's Office and the Department of State, as well as the law enforcement agencies in this county and state. So, a number of state and federal statutes protect personal information. Public Officers Law, the FOIL, has very specific language relating to what can and cannot be disclosed. The Open Meetings Law, Public Officers Law, Article 7, establishes the concept of the executive session, in which, if any confidential or quasi-personal information is to be discussed, it's to be done in private.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Vadney.
Oh, there is a time limit now?
3 minutes.
Oh, 3 minutes? Does it apply to everyone? The law says it must. My question to you is, what authority did you act on? And it will come out. Who was responsible for this? Who authorized it? For what purpose? How long these records were taken, that the records were taken out of the premises of the records room? That's a fact. Where were they taken? Who maintained possession of the records? For what purpose were they taken? Every single one of them is a violation of one or several state and federal statutes. Now, you have some questions to answer, and they'll be either answered to the public or they'll be answered in an investigation and under deposition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Walter Way. I live in up by Medway. I spoke with Denise and David on the cemetery records that are missing. I'm just disgusted. Did you talk to your attorney, Jen?
We've discussed it. I don't have any answers for you yet. That's why you didn't get a response.
How long before I
It's your
get
sister.
answers?
I'll probably get back to you tomorrow afternoon. I can get back to you. And your sister?
Tomorrow afternoon, because I will have to get my own attorney on this.
Okay.
I'm just disgusted with you guys. Yes, that's right, you guys. I know where I already talked to you, I'm not wasting my time.
Nope, that's fine. Thank you.
Does the public know what's going on with all this stuff? Did you put it on the website? Does anybody know? I found out through my sister.
Isn't the town clerk the keeper of the records?
Typically, yes, that is correct. But when they're removed from my office without my
Cemetery
knowledge,
records.
they were.
So cemetery records.
Cemetery records were in Jeff's drawer, as we were told by Jeff, and they are not there when we came.
They were removed by the town supervisor when she took things out of the office back in January. There's an email that I sent that covers that. Anybody else for public comment?
Hi, I'm Mary Batney, I live in West Kentucky. I'm just curious because, I think that there's quite a few issues that people are asking questions about, but there's no one has advised the public and the people raising these questions what format the answers will be provided. Will they be on the website?
It should be addressed to us now.
You know, I mean, we come to the meetings and we have a lawyer sitting here and we've been told in the past that she doesn't work for us, which I really find quite interesting since we've voted everyone in and you guys work for all the citizens of the town. So I think that when people come in here, some type of answers should be provided, and if they're not tonight, how and what format will they be provided to the public? Because some of these issues come back to haunt us. I mean, even like the traffic issue, no one seems to know what's going on. And maybe we need a sign announcement, I don't know. So my question is, in order to ensure transparency, which we're kind of getting a little shaky on, I know that was a big deal in the campaign, but something has to be done so people are made aware of the issue and how it's been reconciled. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you'll indulge me for just one moment on the subject of the town attorney. These people are members of town boards, part of town government. The town attorney is not the attorney of the town board solely. The law states that she is also the representative of every body in the town government. Body meaning every division, department, etc. So, Ms. Storm, you're on the spot. It's going to be your baby. You're going to have to rock it when it comes down to explaining to these people why the records were removed from the records, by whom, for what purpose, etc., and how and if it is contrary to the inconsistent with the law, or if it was consistent with the law. These people have a right to consult with you and find out what their rights are and what their rights are not, and how the rights may have been violated. So sitting there perched up amongst these members, 5 members of the town board, please don't forget you're also representing the planning board, the zoning board of appeals, the highway department, and every other body in this town municipal government.
Sorry, guys, I'm back again. I didn't realize, Michelle, you were the attorney. You spoke with Denise. You can't tell me if someone dies tomorrow and it has to be buried in one of these cemeteries, where they're gonna go, how the town is gonna handle this, because we have no idea where the plots are. People have deeds. People are gonna pass away. And you're gonna just sit here after Denise talked to you a couple days ago and you can't give me a damn answer?
Respectfully, I'm not on the board, so when you make public comment, you're supposed to be addressing the board. So I typically don't engage with people, members of the community.
Why?
With that said,
I'm
you're
helping,
assuming,
paying for you.
I'm responding. With that said, you're assuming facts not in evidence or not stated. You're assuming a conversation took place that may or may not have taken place. You're assuming that I'm the attorney that's dealing with the cemetery issue when I may not be.
Did Denise talk to you about it?
Again, I don't consult with members of the public in a public forum like this. It's not my role.
Then how can I?
You need to speak with the board members.
I did. So I get nothing, a big nothing. Somebody passes away and we don't know where the plots are. What are you supposed to do? What's the town gonna do? What are people gonna do? Where are they gonna be buried?
No records.
I'll
No
get back to you
maps.
guys tomorrow afternoon, okay?
Tomorrow afternoon,
Yes.
Anna
With-
Page.
with an attorney's advice, not the board.
No, yeah, correct.
I expect to hear from you.
I'll send an email to your sister.
Denise, I still to date have not received an email from you
No,
in any
you are
response. And also question, did you get in touch with the funeral home over in Greenville?
I did not.
Okay, I shall call them tomorrow then.
Good job.
Let's hope no one passes away.
Yes.
Anybody else? Okay. Ted Hilscher. Sorry,
Good evening.
how are you?
It's very nice to be here.
Thank you for coming.
So you asked me to come in, do you want me to give a little overview of what I do? Do you have questions? How would you like me to proceed?
You just do what
I'll give you a little
Sure.
overview.
Sure.
Okay, all right. So, I'm the town historian. My name's Ted Hilscher. I'm the town historian. I've been the town historian, since 2011. Everybody pays, everybody in the town of Baltimore pays 50 cents a year to have me be your town historian. So hopefully I'm earning my keep. So there's always projects I'm involved in, which we can talk about. I think there's a couple of projects that the board is interested, which I'll get to in a minute, the 250th, of course. But I'm basically a resource. I'm available as a resource. And usually what happens, fairly frequently, Barb is very good about, she usually handles, or the deputy handles, inquiries, and she directs the person to me either by phone call or email or both. And then I have contact with the person that has the question. Usually there's 3 types of questions I get the most. How old is my house? Where is my ancestor buried? Now the second question is usually from somebody who's outside of the community. So I hear from people, I call them back, I email them, and they say, I live in Tennessee and I've done a lot of genealogy. A lot of people that contact me are well informed, and they've looked at census records, and they've looked at, things that are available to them. And they say, my ancestor so-and-so was buried in the town. Do you know where he or she is buried? And the third type of question I often get, and again from somebody outside of the community, they say, I live in Tennessee and my ancestor lived somewhere in the town of New Baltimore. Can you tell me where they lived? Now, what you learn from seminars that I go to, or classes that are available for municipal historians, is you're not supposed to do research for people. And I almost always do as much research as I can for them. The first question, how old is your house? Usually the answer is, I don't know, and there's probably no way of finding out for sure. Now, often what happens is I'm always trying to make friends with people, and I become friends and they invite me to their house, and I always enjoy that. And we can see, there's observations you can make. Is this Greek revival? Is this Italianate? Whatever. And you can make some observations about some period of time. You're never going to be able to find out. Very rarely you're going to find out this house was built in 1826, but you've got a time period when Greek revival was popular and so forth. And we have maps. If your house is on a map, we have the maps that are most available, from 1856 and 1868, I think, is the Beard, is from the Beard Atlas. And by the way, this is all interesting to me, so, I can be here till 10 o'clock if you want me to. So if you have a person with a hook,
I'm regular.
let me know. But, so anyway, when was my house built? It's gonna be impossible to come up with a year. Where was my ancestor buried? Again, and without wading into the issues raised here earlier, even in best of times, our cemetery records are very, they're incomplete. And our, I know the cemetery that's up on 9W on the way to Baltimore, on the way to Ravenna. I every once in a while I talk to somebody who runs that cemetery. There's no comprehensive records where so and so is buried. So the answer usually is, unless I have some knowledge that I stumbled across some name at some point. I'm the treasurer for the Stanton Hills Cemetery, so I have a little bit of experience. But where was my ancestor buried? You're probably not going to be able to. There's a good chance we're not going to be able to answer that question either. Where did my ancestor live? There's always there's a good chance I can help with that, because again, there's maps, there's deeds. And, there's now, a lot of the deeds are on Greene County Deed, or is on the county clerk website. And you can search, you have somebody's name, you can search, you can go on the census records. The census records, again, are online, they're public. They don't necessarily give an address, but if you've got a name, and then you start to see where the other names are on that page, the census taker in 1840, went house to house to house. So the people that are on the same page were neighbors. So a lot of times I'll be able to look at a name and I'll say, oh, I might not know your ancestor where they live, but if you look, on the page, you can kind of figure out. So, and anyway, those are some of the typical questions that I get. And of course, I'm a resource. I'm a resource for the town board members. I'm a resource for the town clerk. I'm a resource for other town historians. So, projects that I've been involved in, I have written 2 articles a year for the town newsletter for the last as long as the town newsletter has been printed. So that's been something I've enjoyed. It's sometimes it's time consuming, but there's 2 articles a year from me for the last whatever, I don't know how many years, 10, 12 years, and anyway. Let's see here. The 250th I'll get to in a minute. I've been writing a book, and it is going to be published. Much of what I've spent my free time on I started writing a book in 12 years ago. It's going to be published by SUNY Press. It's on rural life in the Hudson Valley and the Catskill Mountains. Most of it it's based on interviews, close to 40 years now of interviews. I've interviewed over 80 people who have farmed, not just in New Baltimore, but in the Hudson Valley, the Catskill Mountains. Some of my best informants have been people here, local people. Edgar Van Slyke, I spent a lot of time with. Herb Smith, I spent a lot of time with. Unfortunately, both of them have passed away. But that's, it's mostly going to be, my book is mostly going to be a collection of oral history that I've absorbed by talking to a lot of these people who have now passed away. We also have the benefit of diaries. Augustus Conrad was somebody who lived up on Old Kings Road in the 1800s. read his diaries. Jesse Vanderzee lived over, on Vanderzee Road, on the Baltimore Queens line, and I've read his diaries. He was 16 years old in the 1890s. So that's something I'm looking forward to, hopefully finishing that up. I've worked on with Don Teeter as the town historian in Greenville, and I'm working on a barn calendar with him. Two of the barns that are going to be featured in the barn calendar are barns from the town of New Baltimore. So that's a worthwhile. That's been a worthwhile project. The Greene County Historical Society, we know, is going to have their annual homes tour on June 6th here in the town. I've been asked to write an article for the Greene County Historical Society Journal magazine that they have about the town of New Baltimore. That's going to be an introduction and serve as sort of an introduction to the people that are taking the homes tour. So there's always, I have these routine kind of questions that people drop in my lap, but there's always these other projects that I get involved in. And before I forget, I think the board has given authorization to use the town hall on June 6th.
Yep.
The building, we're gonna have the building available at 8:45 to 4 o'clock. I think that's it. Can I ask who's gonna open the building and then close it up at 4 o'clock?
Probably me.
Okay, all right. I'll take that as you are gonna do it. I can't, the probably isn't gonna help.
Happily, I would do that.
But thank you. Fran Degny, do you want to talk about, some of you know Fran Degny. Fran wrote a wonderful book on the schoolhouse in the hamlet. The book is 10 years old this year, and she has been, I've had just some very preliminary discussions with her. She was interested in maybe putting some of the exhibit, some or all, I don't know if all would even fit, but I think she had interest in maybe putting some of the exhibit up in the town hall. Is that something you want to talk about now, or I can meet with somebody at some point?
I think, we wanted to have a subsequent meeting, so.
Okay, so you'll contact me.
And Janet as well.
Okay.
I met with Fran on Friday and had some preliminary discussion.
Okay, all right, very good. And then last but not least, the 250th. So I met with, just informally, I talked to Susan O'Rourke and Melissa Diston a while ago. They asked me if I would give a talk on New Baltimore, New Baltimore's role in the revolution, and I can certainly do that. We don't know where you want me to give the talk or where the Conservancy wants me to give the talk. We don't have the date yet. We thought maybe because there's so many things that go on in the summer, maybe it would be better to have it in the fall, maybe have it early fall. But that's all to be determined, and I'll be glad to work on a talk, and we can, I guess, I don't know, is there a committee that's working on this at the town board level? All right, so somebody's gonna suggest to me a date at some point for my talk? Yes?
Yep.
Okay. And then the last thing that I can think of, Jacob, I think his name is Jacob Conine. Jacob Conine, maybe that's it, maybe I'm wrong with the first name wrong. But Jacob Conine was a soldier in the American Revolution. He is buried down on Flatbush Road. Mr. Morehouse, is that right? Mr. Morehouse, I stopped and I talked to Mr. Morehouse and I asked him, we want to make a little fuss about Jacob Conine, and he thought that was great. He gave me sort of open, rein to do that. So I'm gonna go down there. It's a pretty nice it's in pretty good condition. I think he died in 1800 something, but the gravestone is pretty good. It has a tilt to it. But I'll go down now, rake it up and stuff. But the main thing I want to get is a grave marker. Grave marker, just simple veteran, American Revolution. We can put a flag in it. I can put a flag in it once a year. And I'm in the process. I've just started trying to find out who can get us a veterans flag marker. My next phone call is going to be to the Veteran Administration in Catskill. If anybody has any ideas, if anybody knows where there's, a pile of them, whatever, I'll talk to Art. But that's another thing that I want to do. I want to make sure that he gets recognized and we have a grave marker there, and I will be more than happy to, every year that I'm able to put a flag, I'll be pleased to do that. Yes.
I have a Civil War veteran buried in the cemetery on my road, and it has the star of recognition as being in the war. He's got the cannon on his headstone, and it's very easy to see.
Yeah, I know we have up at the Stanton Hill Cemetery, we have, veterans up there. And I just don't, an American Revolution veteran, that's special. That's special and it's rare.
Wow.
And, as most of you know, Coxsackie New Baltimore was part of Coxsackie. New Baltimore didn't even exist until 1811. And it was not, really, in 1776, there were very few people that lived in what is now New Baltimore.
Well, we feel the Civil War vet is important too. So
Oh, absolutely.
we have to be very careful because once in a while we've had people try to steal
Yep.
this
Yep.
thing.
Yep. But it is the 250th, so our focus is on the American Revolution.
Okay.
And so those are a couple things that I'm working on. I have some time left. It's not 10 o'clock yet. Does any board member have any questions for me? Okay, so some of you will be in touch with me at some point. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. You want change? Or you want the whole thing?
I want the whole large bill.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that'll be tonight.
Yep, public health.
Hello, good evening. My name is Isiani Figueroa, and I am the Community Health Worker Program Assistant for Public Health. Sorry. For Public Health and Greene County Community Health, formerly Greene County Family Planning. My role focuses on bringing health services directly to the community, including through the mobile health van, which allows us to meet people where they are and expand access to care across the county. I also speak both English and Spanish, which helps us serve and connect with all members of the community. My work includes bringing health services directly into the community, connecting residents to care and local services, helping reduce barriers as access, transportation, and awareness. Helping, coordinating outreach events and partnering with local organizations. But most importantly, we love to listen, we'd love to hear from you. The health needs your town, services you feel would be most helpful, and how we can best show up and support your community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So I'm sorry, we have a mobile van with Greene County Public Health, and so we're doing these road shows, going to all the town board meetings to see if there's a place you'd like us to come, if we're gonna be able to do some screenings, we wanna be out there with the people, and, we found that there was deficits up on the mountaintop, so we're now up on the mountaintop, and people appreciate that we're there. We do blood pressure screenings, hopefully cholesterol and blood sugar screenings are coming. We can do some reproductive health on the van. We can just do education and outreach on the van as well. So we're happy to come up here. I mean, it's a little exciting up here in Baltimore. And we'd love to, if you have any events during.
Don't get used to it.
Right, we also, we take care of communicable diseases. Anybody in your town that gets a Lyme disease or anaplasmosis or babesia, you might hear from our staff to do an interview. Any GI stuff that's state reportable, you'll hear from us. We have a maternal child health nurse that will go out and do health guidance visits for moms and babies. We have an early intervention program for 0 to 3 for kids with developmental delays, and we also partner with the Schools for Pre-K program. And we have a brand new administrator here for our community health, which is reproductive health and assists with people with opioid use disorder. So, we're underserved, right? We have no hospital, we have, medical doctors are not available to us, so we want to do what we can to be out there.
How do they access your services? So someone in the town.
We have a full-time clinic Monday through Friday in our building at 411 Main Street. And then the mobile van goes out to the communities and we have a calendar of that.
Is there a process for, say, the seniors or someone in our community to access to get you?
So we partner with the Office of the Aging, so we go to all the senior sites. We are doing blood pressure clinics at all the senior clubs, throughout the summer. But if anybody needs us, just give us a call.
Yeah, because I think in our town, we might have some people who can't get to any of those places.
Yes, we've spoken with a number of people who can't get out, who
Yes.
can't get to the services. So we'd be very interested in talking to you about setting up some times when you could bring the van
That
out.
would be terrific. I mean,
That would
that's
be
the
really-
purpose of coming out and meeting with all the town boards.
Definitely, thank you.
Are there any insurance requirements? Is it pay what you can or?
So there is a sliding fee scale if you have no insurance, otherwise they take commercial insurance and Medicaid.
We also can help people get insurance. That's
Oh, wow.
We have a navigator that can assist with insurance. So, and we're happy to do that.
I also wanted to just mention ticks. It's tick season and we have signs. We hear about your park, so we can give you signs for tick prevention and tick screening. We want to remind the residents that every year the state health department does a sweep. They take a white sheet and sweep the parks for the ticks, and then they actually look at what the bacteria are and what they're carrying. And obviously, number one is Lyme disease, but anaplasmosis is a second. And the ticks that had the most infections were down by the river, right here in this area. So really being mindful of tick prevention, and we brought some tick removal as well.
I gather that the number of ticks that are known to have Lyme disease has been going up. I think it was up to 40% last I heard yesterday, from 30-something last year.
Many are infected with all three diseases.
Right.
Yeah, so it's really important. So if we can come up here, we're happy to do it. Luciani's gonna include the town clerk for her card and make some plans.
Yeah, we-
Can I ask you a question? Have you been contacted by James June yet?
Yes,
I thought so. Okay, so you will be there also?
Yes.
Okay.
We will be there.
Community Day at the firehouse we're talking about.
Yeah.
What's the date?
What's the date? I think it's May
2nd? That's Saturday. Yes.
Okay.
The van is coming.
Oh, good.
Let's set up a meeting and talk more, make some
Okay.
plans.
Is there anything in particular, would you like some signs for the park?
I think, the signs would be great. That'd be fantastic.
Is
We've
there
heard it's gonna be very
Anything
busy.
else you can think of? We deal with rabies too. We're always, we've been trying to hit some of the towns, if there's a spare freezer, we might be able to use in the event of having an animal that would need to get tested that has expired, that would be great.
Do you do rabies vaccinations or is?
We do, for the pets, and
Okay.
anybody exposed would come through us. So if somebody is exposed to a potential rabid animal, and we didn't test that animal, they get treated by us.
Okay, but the vaccinations for the animals themselves?
Yes, we're gonna do 4 clinics, we just got the okay,
Okay,
and we run them at the Caro Town Park.
right, yeah,
It's very convenient, it's a nice loop, I think people appreciate
Yeah.
how quick and efficient it
and it's low, no cost, cats, dogs, and
is.
ferrets,
We ask for donations if they do.
right?
Yeah, okay.
Are you expect to do 4 of those this year, you think?
Yes, we're starting in May,
And in Cairo?
yes,
Okay,
yes. We do one on the mountaintop.
right.
Anything else? So nice to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I don't know. My heart, I got it.
Do we do cemeteries?
I get cartilage.
Gotta get food in.
I don't know why that works. Wait, you're saying that I'm not gonna tell you, can't tell me.
Hey, when I took this job, I didn't realize that cemeteries would be so much fun. And, the fact of the matter is, that the map of the plot locations in the Medway Church Cemetery remains missing. I never saw it. You know, this issue has been addressed already tonight in this meeting. What troubles me is that the failure to find the cemetery plot map will likely cause the town unnecessary and unforeseen expense. And, a lot of heartache for all of us. So, is the Way family still here?
Yeah, one.
Good to see you. Did Walt go?
He did,
I'm sorry.
yes.
Oh, so, on April 11th, the Way family, met with Art Bias. Art, are you here?
He stepped outside, would you like
With
to
Art.
get him?
Tell him I'm talking. Anyway, Art Bias is the sexton. I'm town councilor. And they met with Denise Tabor, the supervisor, in order to discuss the management of their plots purchased from the Medway Christian Church, and I believe in the 50s. 8 plots.
8 plots. And I believe 87 when my brother passed, or 78 when my brother passed.
So, without the cemetery plot map, you guys are uncertain where to dig your own family graves.
That is correct.
And you have, in addition to that, you have possession of 8 family deeds.
I do believe so, yes.
That's what your mother said.
Yes.
And so there's no question that you own the plots. You have the deed to the plot.
That is correct.
So, Walter, I wish you were here when we were meeting with him, asked some tough questions. I was hoping he would be here because I wanted to make sure I captured his questions the way, I couldn't capture them the way he put them. But
Correct.
this is what I have for him. He asked, this is a tough one. How long does the Way family have to file a lawsuit against the town for mismanagement of their grave sites? Seems pretty straightforward. What is the town's plan for burials if the plot map is not found? It's a good question. Does the sexton have the legal authority to make burial arrangements if the family has paid the town fees for registration and for a plot deed? So, Art, are you here now?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so that's a good question too, and it's something that we need to work on, exactly what your responsibilities are. So, when the Way family was with us, those present, I thought, agreed that a survey of the Way family burial plots oriented to the existing boundary markers of the cemetery would provide a way forward. Is that the way you remembered it, Anna, or did I invent something there?
I believe that it was stated if that was where we started, that could be how we could have where the other plots are.
Good. So,
So, yeah, so currently if somebody passes, let's say, my mother passes, she's got a spot next to my father. Then if one of us passes, where exactly are our plots? Are we going out to the left? Are we coming down straight? Will we be hampering somebody else's purchase that isn't there yet? And, go ahead, no, go ahead.
I brought up a question about that. Just because they're vacant doesn't mean they're not, somebody hasn't purchased. There's zero, just about zero cornerstones in that whole cemetery.
Wow.
Okay, so you could have a vacant plot, you say it's vacant, but there's no cornerstones with one initial onto one of the cornerstones. You don't have to initial all four. Shows you the right before you buy a tombstone or a headstone. So you don't know. It's a step in the dark. And I have 3 days, roughly 4 days, to make a decision what we're gonna do. Somebody calls, so-and-so passed away, bring home, calls you.
that goes back, Art, to this business of having, your job responsibilities publicized and written down.
Yes.
So, I couldn't agree with you there more. It was a serious discussion, and both the town council members and the Way family agreed to continue the search for Medway church deeds for the plot map, to go through library records, and for any other information that we would have identify unused burial plots and their family ownership. I mean, in general, beyond the Way family. So that's the way we left it. But in addition to that, I wanted to say that Denise offered, asked the Way family to communicate directly with her if they have additional questions or new concerns. And I have some more information about how we can go forward in a little bit. Anna, I think your mother, this is gonna sound like a political issue, but it's something that we together can take care of pretty easily. So maybe the timing for this is not so hot, but I think your mother, Anna, or you, said that there was money that was transferred from the Medway Christian Church to the town when the cemetery was taken over.
No, I said that.
You said that, Art. Okay, thank you.
Mary Beth Woodhall was in charge of those 4 cemeteries. Okay. Mary?
Marilyn was the mother, she was in charge.
Okay, I'm
And then Beth Ann.
named one. Anyway, when she decided to turn them over, she released everything to the town.
So so what I wanted to say about that is that some of that, I understand that some of that money was used to pay for the lawyer.
Correct.
To handle the transfer of the cemetery
There
to
was
the town.
$7,000 there. The previous administration hired an attorney to get it straight, and it cost $4,000. So there's $3,000 left.
There's money left, and the issue here is a legal one, as far as I understand it, and I'm just new in this job. So I could be wrong, but we are required by law to carry accounts for the cemetery. And we don't have right now, we don't have those bank accounts for the cemetery.
I believe they were transferred to the town from Mary Beth.
I spoke to our bookkeeper about that this
Yeah,
week,
what did you
and
find
she
out?
said it was put in the general fund.
Yeah, so we need separate bank accounts, I think.
We know the
I
amount.
think she recommended that it be put in the general fund.
Yeah.
Do you know the exact amount?
No, that was something, Barbara, you could help us with too.
Bonnie will have that.
I'd like to know how much we paid the lawyer. For sure. And I would like to know, how much money actually came from the Medway Christian Church?
There's 7,000 there. Total.
Seven.
So it was told to me.
But do we have an invoice or anything from the,
Yes, we do. You have from the attorney.
and from the attorney?
From the attorney, there will be vouchers.
So this part of it, I think we can work out. You know, we can get the bank accounts if we need them, and we can work out, how much we should have in those bank accounts. And I think we're gonna get there if we're all working together. So then, Anna, I contacted the Division of Cemetery.
Excuse me for a second, Dave. Those missing records doesn't just include the church cemetery. There's 3 other cemeteries that includes. There's four cemeteries with those records that disappeared.
Well, correct. I never saw the records and I don't know what those records included. There were 3 cemeteries that were transferred to the town last fall.
Correct.
Well, I just don't know,
There's 4.
I don't know what records were involved. I never saw the records.
Well, I never did either.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm worried about the Way family here and how we can get ahead, move ahead. And so there's lots of ways I could have gone, but I contacted the Division of the Cemetery State Investigator, the state investigator for the New Baltimore area, Carrie McGovern, for help in finding records for the Medway Christian Cemetery in the state archives and the New York State Museum. She's also contacting David Fleming, the lawyer that handled the transfer of the cemetery to the town. And she has reassured me that this is not an uncommon problem. It's happened before, and that she can lead us to the people who have the equipment to do the survey of the cemetery for the ways, if we have to. But, you know, I'm upset because that's gonna cost the town money. So, and then I always have other concerns beyond this issue. But in addition to my concerns that I addressed in the previous board meeting, I will add the question of how the town intends to maintain its cemeteries beyond routine mowing. I mean, I live near the Medway Christian Cemetery personally, if that matters. I'm not particularly pleased with what I saw with grass covering some of the tombstones. I think we could do better, but that's for the future. So that's my cemetery report.
Thank you. I appreciate your time. And then I will be in contact tomorrow with David Fleming, who was retained by the town. Thank you. So, this is the request for the, so what is this? It's for Barb.
Comprehensive plan and zoning code updates. We've had some really tremendous outreach and interest. Right now I have 19 names that want to be on the committee, which I would like to accommodate everyone. To that end, I've spoken directly to 16 out of the 19 applicants. I think Anne Marie, there are a couple people I have not heard from. And I wanted to clear a couple things up, some concerns we've gotten. One, this is an advisory committee. It is not being led by the town board. Eventually, the recommendations that the committee produces will be the basis for a program of resolutions passed by the town board. But the town board is not here to set the agenda for what the Comprehensive Plan Committee discusses and ultimately advises. Second, this is going to be an open process. I've had some concerns about privacy. Unfortunately, if you want to remain completely anonymous, you can submit private comments, but you can't serve on the board and maintain your complete anonymity. I know that's been a concern, and unfortunately, I don't think there's a way around that. I'm hoping to hear from, everyone I haven't directly contacted, but either way, we'll be sending out, notifications in the next few days, introducing everyone and trying to get, our first meeting rolling.
And I'll just add, we do plan on having the meetings be open, public, so that as the board is discussing things, we can accept public comment too.
Thanks, Dan.
I think I have a question concerning the change in zoning. I was here, have been here like many of us, since the last time we changed zoning. And there were many suggestions that hurt people. I'll leave it to say it at that. What I'm asking of the anticipated board is how drastic a change in zoning are you thinking of?
Well, again, the idea of the committee is not to, is not for the board to guide decision-making, it's for residents to provide input. So for instance, something I've heard from, one issue that I've heard from a lot of people that I think that there are two very valid points of view on. I've heard from a lot of people saying that affordability is a real problem in this town, that their kids can't afford to buy homes here, that we have a shortage. And no, I have heard it.
I'm not doubting that you've heard it, but you better check all around the whole Tri-City area because that's standard as things are now in this economy. Think
Sure.
about it.
But I've also heard a lot of, we don't want change, we don't want more housing, we don't want more development. My thought really is to put together a forum for residents to discuss this, not to put my finger on the scale and say, oh no, we should be doing it this way. But there are certain things that I think need to be updated one way or another. For instance, the last time we discussed zoning, short-term rentals weren't really as big of a deal. And I know that there are some residents who say these short-term rentals are a real nuisance, they're a tax on our resources. And there are some residents who say, I wouldn't be able to afford to live here if I couldn't rent out my mother-in-law suite. And I think both of those opinions are very valid. And I think if we work together, we can find smart ways of meeting affordability goals that ideally don't hurt people.
My main concern, since I've been in this town, is that we don't have the development of people on top of people on top of people, where we have a 2-acre minimum lot size now. That's my thought as when we changed zoning. Originally, and I don't know how many people here remember, but when we first started that, Greenville was also involved in it. And at the time, there were suggestions to the people in Greenville, let's make it a 5-acre minimum. Well, that didn't last, needless to say. And when it comes to developing in this town, if you don't have water and you don't have sewer, your chances of better housing or better growth is almost non-existent.
So I think, Ellie, and just to add to what Danny was saying, we've heard, and Robbie spoke about this the last time too, when we talked about this at the last meeting, other than the fact of, short-term rentals, there's a lot of, there's not laws related to things like a lot of the, solar stuff and new things that have come in. So I've heard it and I've sat in with the board meetings, both zoning and planning, where people have said, we need to declare laws, we need laws written about it at all that haven't been. And also that the fact, and we've had some issues recently where the zoning law was too vague. So the point is we don't have an objective to mass change this stuff.
Okay.
And also the whole project will begin with a look at the comprehensive plan.
I remember, I believe, Shelley, you were on the board at the time.
Yeah, so the 2 acres is a state law, not a town law.
Well,
when you have a sewer and a,
Right.
well on the same.
Right. Okay,
So, but-
but there was a discussion even about little houses. Remember they asked about even thinking about
Tiny
something like that?
Yeah, yeah, no, and I think that that's why we want to start the work group with the review of the comprehensive plan, because that's where not only the residents and others can say, this is really what we want and what we don't want. And that's the guiding thing to then what do we do with zoning? Whether if it's not adequate, if we need more zoning based on what we talk about in the comprehensive, or if we need to modify some. But that's where it's kind of started with the comprehensive plan. And we don't really have anything specific that we're putting our finger on to say, we have to change this, this was no good, we want to talk about it in that light. So it's that's why we have a big committee planned, and why we're gonna have open and public meetings.
Right, okay.
And we asked people from the zoning board to join. We have members of the planning board to join. We've had some great people with great experience, and so, and I think everybody's got the same thought in mind,
Well, I do remember too, Deb, and I think Shelley will back me up. When we first talked about zoning, we were having meetings at the firehouse to accommodate, and they were out the door, and the anger, right, Joe?
Right, but the 50% set aside, that was mostly about.
Yep.
I
It
didn't hear
was
you, Shelley.
drastic.
It was the 50% set aside, people were up in arms, because originally they had said if you develop more than 5 parcels, you have to put 50% of your total acreage aside for no development, no.
But no development.
No matter how you cut it, it lost people a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a valid issue, and that's why you have these kinds of discussions.
That's
If
what
it's not good, then
I'm
okay,
saying.
we know that, we're not gonna go that way.
Okay.
It's, we'll see how we go. as
So
we
did you
go
talk
through.
to everybody that applied, or?
I never.
16 out of 19.
Oh, so the other 3 you plan on getting in touch with?
2 already serve on the planning board, and I have not heard back from Ken Vick.
So the 2 that serve on the planning board aren't qualified, or what is your point?
No, they are gonna be on the board,
Okay.
definitely. And we're glad to have them. Very good. Anybody else, any questions about it?
Next is for the highway for the adoption of the New York State DOT accident and incident report. We're gonna discuss this and bring it back in 2 weeks, but there's a resolution
In the back.
for a previous, resolution for the reporting of an incident, so it's in here. So I'll show that to you later. I'll bring it up in 2 weeks. Traffic study.
Okay, so, this is an issue about the Route 144 traffic study that was done and payment that we are expecting from the state DOT. And I'm glad that Michelle is here because we really needed to discuss this. We worked very hard to get the money back from the state DOT, that they had promised us 100% payment for the traffic study, and that it would be up to $100,000 that they would pay. So, when we started to try to get reimbursement from them, it was taking a very long time. And so I reached back out to DOT, and what they said to us is that, and I've said this at other meetings already, but that they made a mistake. They didn't handle it properly through the right channels. And basically we had to go right back again to square one, go through the controller's office, get the contract accepted and approved, which we did. Then when I got the great news that we can start to now get the money back, they sent me documentation from the state controller's office that said it was going to, the whole study came to and cost $95,882. And we were supposed to be able to be covered up to $100,000.
So when I looked at the controller's documents and I tried to fill out the reimbursement forms, it would only, they said we could only get back 95,000, not the 882 cents. So this is the question. The highway department fund, account that came from is in need of this money. It's been a long time. We're trying to get this money back from the state. They promised us this amount of money and they're not meeting that agreement. Now, do we wait? Do we file and get the 95,000 and then go back and say, what about this 842 that you also promised us? Because we need the money to come in. But I don't want to do anything that's going to damage the time frame in which we get that money back, since it is a large amount of money and the majority of the money. So how can we, how should we?
I haven't,
Okay.
I'm not up to speed, and so
Okay.
Denise is looking
Okay,
to see what it
so
was. that she
that's
got
where
this
we
from.
are. We should be, they said, oh, now you can come and get this money. And that's where we are. I could fill it in right now and get 95,000 and not the 842 that we also are supposed to get. So that's where we are. Yeah,
You know, we've had this discussion before. I think we have to stop going forward with these projects when the money hasn't been guaranteed.
it was guaranteed, Emery,
No, it
that's the
wasn't.
thing.
It's not
Oh,
in
yes,
your hands,
we
no.
have the documents that it was
I worked for
guaranteed.
government for many years,
Oh, so did I.
okay? If you don't have it in your pocket,
That's
you
the way,
don't have it.
that's the way it is with most grants with the government now. You pay, they'll
But
pay
this is a
80%, but
small
you have to pay
community.
up front
Okay.
and then they pay you back.
Okay, you can believe whatever you want.
No, I know that that's
Okay.
fact.
Listen to what I'm saying to you. The taxpayers in this town do not want to be responsible for these kinds of expenses.
I don't want them to be, and that's why I'm trying to get the money back.
If you continue to proceed with your philosophy about grants and government, we will be looking at this over and over. And listen, I think some of your ideas are good, but if the money's not in front of your nose, don't do it.
I will say, we did have a contract written. I have a lot of documentation that they were giving us this money.
Now what are you
Now,
gonna
let me finish, please.
State of New York?
Let me just, State of New York DOT. I have it, and in fact, when I challenged the difference that they were gonna give us, they went back to the person who we had been working with on the study and on the contract originally, and she acknowledged that we were supposed to get $100,000, up to $100,000 in reimbursement. So that's where I am right now. How do I want to go? And the man was saying one more thing. When there's grants available through the state or the federal agencies, that does come out of taxes for the most part. Not all of it, but most of it does come from taxes. The bottom line is, we're gonna pay for that whether or not we get the benefit of a grant to do things in this town, like water, like anything we need. If somebody else is going to get that, we're not going to get it, but we're still gonna be paying for that.
Okay.
So we might as well try to get the money.
Okay, we're not talking about water.
No, I just use that as an
We're
example.
talking about a plan that was designed that the majority of people in this town think is ludicrous, number one.
That's
Number two-
that's also not accurate, Emery.
Okay,
That's not
number
accurate.
two, and I understand your diligence in what you have done to obtain these monies, but I also understand government.
So do
And
I.
they'll can jerk you around,
I know.
and you can have contracts, you can have all kinds of stuff.
That's
And
not
it's
news
still
to me,
gets
Emery. What I'm
broken out.
I'm at right now is the point is, what do we do instead? Do we go for the 95 and maybe not get the 882 cents? Or do we challenge the government at this point, DOT, and say, you promised us this, and this, we have the documents that you promised it, and we want to get the full amount, because we're a small town, and $800 may not be a lot to DOT, but every $800 for us is a big deal. So that's where we are, and that's what I want to try is, what is our next step? I don't want to lose the 95. I don't want to prolong us getting the 95. That's a big deal. But that's where we are now, and that's what I'm trying to
And that money
resolve.
was borrowed out, I'm the highway.
Why didn't it come out of the general, not out of the highway?
That was the decision that was made at the time, 2024, when it was started. So that's where we are. I wanted everybody to know, I wanted the attorney to hear the details. And that's where we are, that decision to make.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, we've gone to 150,000 here, 95,000 here. We have fines that were paid out of the general fund. I mean, come on, we have to get our budget lines in together and step back on these things.
Technology. Well, I get to talk again, and I'm the one I think who's obsolete here.
I don't know, but I like the new one. I just had a chance to use it and I like it.
We didn't delete anything from the website.
Anyway, I'm gonna talk now about the IT and the town website. So I've been meeting, and other board members have been meeting with website providers whose products comply with the new ADA requirements for 2027 that for smaller towns, and offer additional software functionality that might be desirable and that the current website does not support. So we've talked to 2 firms previously over the last few weeks, and since the last town board meeting, we've talked to 2 other firms, the firm Catalyst and one government consortium, Digital Towpath. Both of those firms demonstrated their town website applications on March 25th and the other one on the 30th, and each provided pricing. Catalyst supports about 1,000 small town websites, while Digital Towpath, it's interesting, it's a New York State consortium, and they support about 80 New York town websites. I said this last time, I'll say it again, it's worth repeating because we're worried here about cost. The cost of converting to a widely established vendor, such as these that we've talked about, seems to be within the reach of the town's budget. And a commercial website package would offer an ongoing update environment and offer options not currently available, such as tools for creating meeting agenda and for converting PDF files into files that are easier to search. I also wanted to mention that both Catalyst and the Digital Towpath have been supplying website software to our neighbors, towns here in the Hudson Valley. Next week, next board meeting, I'm committing to presenting my summary of these 4 website providers and their pricing, and would entertain the board's questions at that time with an eye to moving ahead with the new website. In addition to the website software, the firms Cloud Permit and iWork, that's spelled IWORQ, demonstrated their permit management, planning and zoning and code enforcement software. They did that on April 6th and 7th. We've been listening to these presentations, and when I talked to April here and Deborah, what I'm getting is a lot of feedback that, this town is handling only about 90 permits per year. And so we might not need a special software application for the planning and zoning and code enforcement. But next point, the firm ITS's upgrade to the current town website is complete. ITS has updated the town of New Baltimore website to Joomla 6.0.4, which I'm sure means a lot to everybody here. Maybe Danny and Deborah, but we're updated and we're good to go for a while. and that is until we have to face this ADA requirement in April of 2027. Then also worth mentioning here, Michelle Stefanik met with Joe Volodkovic, the president of ITS, on April 3rd. ITS has been asked to provide cost estimates for 3 projects. First project, ending leases of town computers. Leasing is more expensive than buying. 2, installing town office 365 accounts and new email addresses. ITS has provided the estimates for the Office 365 installation and the new email addresses, so we can check their number 2 obligation off. 3, pricing for additional laptop, desktop, and tablets. It's come to our attention that many staff members are using private computers for town work, which would open them to legal issues. The removal of their own personal computers. So I had wanted to just say that the town and ITS are working on the details of projects 1 and 3. That's my ITS, that's my IT report.
Thank you. Town parks. Michelle and I had gone out to District 2 Park out here over the weekend, and the gazebo is in pretty bad shape. There's a ramp that goes like a handicap accessible ramp that goes into the gazebo that has a hole in the ramp. So I'm gonna meet with Alan and the highway crew to see what we can do. But for now, I think we're just gonna close it off because of the condition, because it's not safe. And then there's some other stuff that's in the park that belongs to the outlaws, I guess. They're building a
Batting cage.
A batting cage they're
Batting
building.
cage.
So there's wood and stuff that's just laying around. So I got the contact information from Scott, so I'll give him a call.
I'd like to ask, what's the problem with the batting cage?
I'm not saying that there's a problem with it.
Well, you said it's illegal. It's not illegal.
I didn't say it was illegal.
Oh, then I misunderstood. I'm sorry. I thought back here I heard you say it was illegal.
Oh, no.
You don't want it built.
What's that?
You don't want it built.
No, I didn't say
I
it.
misunderstood. Okay, I apologize. Misunderstood the whole thing.
Okay. With the batting cage.
What you said about the batting cage?
Yeah, I said that there's wood that's laying around that they're using to build the batting cage.
Okay.
It must belong to the outlaws, I assume.
Yes, it does.
Okay. And in the batting cage, the line of where it's built so far is a picnic table.
We're gonna move the picnic table.
Okay.
That's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Okay? It wasn't finished. It was fall, freezing weather. So we're gonna do that.
Okay. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Okay. That extra cumber there is in the driveway, whatever, is extras. 2 pieces still needed, but it's going back to G&H. They donated it.
Oh, okay. All right, perfect,
No
thank you.
donation by G&H.
Okay.
Art, I have a question.
That
Do
one,
you
come
guys
on.
want to wait for this? Oh,
I
sorry.
wasn't even paying attention.
Sorry. I didn't know this. Yeah, Art, I was just wondering if we could get like an update of what the status was of the work there.
Well, it was already planned before.
I understand,
Okay.
I just.
It was just a batting cage up in the back. We moved it from where it was, because it was a portable one somewhat. Wasn't too good a structure. So we put a permanent type in. So we're gonna put a header across on those 2 posts on the end, another 6x6. Then we're gonna run a cable on both sides, and put a net over it. So it's gonna be probably one of the better ones in the area.
Okay.
Okay, safety. And those posts are set in the concrete, so they're not, it's done right.
Oh, no, I noticed that. All right, thank you.
Any questions on any of those, anything to do with the outlaws, the team there? I'll be happy to answer.
That'd be
Can
great.
I ask a
appreciate it.
question? Whose insurance covers the bat and cage and all that when the outlaws aren't there doing their game thing and the public goes in and wants to use it and somebody gets hurt? Does that fall under our insurance or the outlaws?
It's a good question.
Just check into it.
That would be the
Good
town.
idea.
It would be the town.
Do you know anything about the town sign being there? The park sign?
At Hallett Park?
It's missing. I went by it
Denise
tonight on the way over.
It fell. We actually picked it up on Saturday or
Sunday.
Sunday. We leaned it up against the, post, but actually I was on the phone with Scott and Warmer at the time. So he's aware of the fact that it's broken.
I think it might be at the shop, I think I saw it.
Okay.
I wasn't sure where it came from, but.
So I wasn't talking to you, sorry.
The wood on the top where the screws were in it.
Yep.
The wood was still hanging there, the sign was on the ground when I picked it up, so it must have.
And there's ground bees over there.
Yeah, there's bees
So be
there.
careful.
They attack me.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Okay. Construction of the town hall. It submitted an addendum to the work that was done outside for staining, excuse me, staining the wood at a cost of $12,000. So we're gonna, it's matching, it matches something. So, we asked that it not be done. And we'll get this stain and, we'll take care of it ourselves. So that's what that, change is, the building change order for the town hall.
Denise, do you have any idea what the plan is for these two giant rocks that are out here?
Well, we have a volunteer group staying.
I don't have an answer for that either. I will find out and I will let you know. Okay. Truck traffic. Yeah.
So I'd like to give an update on the truck traffic situation, which I have done that before in the previous meetings. What happened is that we recognized that DOT was not going to really do things here in our small town that was needed to help us with the truck traffic. And we recognized that the only way to get something done is to get everybody involved who's affected by the truck traffic, meaning the village of Ravenna, the town of Queens, the town of Bethlehem, and the hamlet of Selkirk. So we have all been working together as a group, as a team. We've spoken with Senator Fahey, and we've spoken with Senator Hinchey. I'm gonna speak with her group again tomorrow. And there has been a lot of recognition about it now, where before it was kind of rolled under the table, one small town complaining, not gonna do anything. There's a lot of history to this. There's a lot of damage and bad things happening to people and their property, and dangerous. So we are pushing forward on that. On Wednesday, there's going to be a meeting that DEC actually called. There have been issues in the past when the port wanted to expand, that DEC had recommended the traffic be moved northward, all go north to exit 22. That was their recommendation, but two things about that. DOT refused to do that, and secondly, that's just another way of, pardon my pun, but kicking the can down the road, affecting another group of people with a short-sighted fix to the problem. It's going to escalate. The truck traffic has been escalating, the salt trucks. Some of the salt trucks are legal. They are of a legal size and width based on, but going back to what DOT promised, the the town of New Baltimore is that trucks were not gonna come through 144. So that's all up in the air. We are pushing very hard. There have been news broadcasts about this problem now. There will be more because the broadcaster, the person doing those broadcasts is very interested in the bigger picture of the story. And so we're gonna do everything we can to make DOT recognize that they need a bigger solution. There's several out there that have been considered and need to be reconsidered, but beyond that, they have to know that they can't just do a small fix. They have to do something that's going to be comprehensive for the whole problem. So that's with that part. I think, Emery, you want to ask me a question?
Has anyone mentioned that we have property in Selkirk and they put in a new bridge and everything because about 10, 15 years ago, they were going to have another throughway exit.
Yes.
Okay.
That's been discussed. The Senator Fahey said that there have been cuts to their budget and $50 million to put in a new exit would be a problem. But if you drive past the throughway, past the Carver Company's, the industrial park, it's right there on the side of the throughway. There's options about using the Amrise property. They have a crossroad that would enable trucks to come down from the quarry, because that's another thing. The quarry causes a lot of pain and problems for people who live on the short road that they take now. And so there's a possibility of working a deal with the Amrise people that would be across right to the port. There's an issue that DEC had talked about, which is related to the conveyor belts that go over 144 and over 9W. And there were environmental concerns. And so part of that conveyor belt was told not to be used. That's where a lot of the stone and rock that came from the quarry was transported to the property near the port. And so there wasn't the need for the trucks to do that transporting of the rocks and stones, especially through these small neighborhoods. So these are some of the options that can be talked about. Going north on 9W on 144, DOT said that exit can't handle that much traffic addition. There is a lot of property around that exit, so I don't know if that's something they can reconsider. But they have to reconsider. They have to know this is a big problem, and they can't just keep washing it down the drain.
Has Carver been invited to
Yeah,
anything?
Nick Laraway has been at all the meetings and at this meeting on Wednesday as well. And so I have a lot of hope that we are going to keep pushing and pushing until we get the state to do something.
I'd like to say something. Originally, probably about 15, maybe 20 years ago, they were going to put an exit up and take it up to 9W by 396.
Mm-hmm.
And that fell through. Because my brother did clearing on that to start it, and then they walked away from it. Just before you got to the exit, coming up south, they were going to put it to that farm there.
Yeah.
And do away so you didn't have to go through all those homes when you got off.
On 396, yeah,
But
exactly.
that all fell through.
Yeah.
So that was way back.
And these are the things we're talking about. Now, one concern that I have, and this is something I've been talking to Senator Hinchey's people about, is that Albany County Alliance is going to be doing a study. That's not Albany County, that's Albany County Alliance, so other organization. And Dan McCoy is involved there, and Kevin O'Connor as well. And they are going to be doing a traffic study. Originally it was announced, this is like study upon study upon study, but they announced it as being for Queens and Ravenna. This came after all the conversations where we were stressing that New Baltimore and Selkirk and Bethlehem need to be included. So what we're pushing for is the fact for these people to understand that the traffic study has to be done the same way by the same people, by the same engineers, wherever in every town that's going to be involved. Because you can't have one company doing it one way, one company doing another way, taking the measurements differently, translating the data differently. It has to be done in a uniform way. So that's the other thing that we are pushing for, is that we are certain that New Baltimore and Bethlehem and Selkirk are included in the traffic study as well.
I have one other question, going back a little about the ball field up here. It was told me the other day at a game afterwards, that they weren't gonna allow outlaws to use that field anymore. Is that true or not true?
I haven't heard anything about that.
Okay, well, probably a bad rumor then. Not by you people, I'm just saying. Okay, I just want to clarify, since you were talking about the batting cage, you understand?
Who's your contact? Like, who said that?
No, I didn't contact, they contacted me. And I couldn't get, I said, who said that? And the person didn't come back to me. Not the person who said it, he said he's gonna find out. You know how rumors go.
I gotcha. All right.
Okay?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm going to have a 2-year contract. Okay, 2 years,
Yeah.
okay. And that was, okay. So I wanted to clarify.
Oh, no, I'm glad
Cool.
you brought that out, so it's cleared.
Yeah, so we're not, okay?
Thank you.
And by the way, another couple of weeks, we're gonna be going there, so it'd be nice to, everybody to see it. I mean, the games. We had one the other Sunday.
Has anybody on the board heard that they are going to redo the bridge here on 144 over the thruway?
I've not heard any information
Well,
about that.
I heard it, so be prepared. And I point it out to you this way. If they're gonna invest, and I don't know how much money they're talking about to do that bridge.
That is terrible.
Well, then they're gonna, if they do any changes of routes, you don't throw out the baby and,
Understood.
you know, so I can't see repairing it, replacing it, or doing anything you guys want done.
That's gotta,
Yeah.
that's why I talk about the big picture that DOT needs to do, to like
Right.
look at, instead of piecemeal.
Yep. Are we ready?
Resolution.
I know, I told her I didn't, just don't go. Are you getting bingo done?
Jay, if you wanna read the picture.
Just gotta make sure.
Stay here.
Yeah, it's number
63-26. I'll read the first resolution. This is resolution 63-2026 for April 2026.
Can't hear.
Okay.
Now,
Whereas the town of New Baltimore was approved by the New York State Department of Transportation to utilize its 2026 Consolidated Local Street and Highway Improvement Program, CHIPS, funding to purchase a new John Deere tractor and attaching mowing equipment for use by the Highway Department. Whereas the John Deere tractor and attached mowing equipment has been purchased. Whereas the highway superintendent has deemed the 2005 Massey Ferguson tractor and mower currently owned by the town of New Baltimore now to be surplus equipment. And whereas the highway
Hold on a
super.
second.
Sorry.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Are we ready for the third whereas?
yes, sure.
Whereas the highway superintendent has also deemed the 9-foot Fisher Minute Mount 1 snowplow also to be surplus equipment, as it was used on the 2012 F-3350 pickup that is no longer used for plowing. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town of New Baltimore approves the request from the highway superintendent to deem said tractor and mower and said snowplow to be surplus. And be it further resolved that the town board approves the listing of said Massey Ferguson tractor and mower and said 9-foot Fisher Minute Mount snowplow for sale on the government surplus auctions website. I make a motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed?
Motion carries.
Motion carried, thank you.
Okay. Resolution 64-2026, resolution to authorize Town Councilperson Sotolano to attend the State Controller's accounting training for local government officials delivered virtually via webinar. Whereas the Office of the New York State Controller is offering the online course, Accounting Principles and Procedures, on June 10th through 11th, 2026, covering the accounting and financial reporting requirements for local governments. And whereas the Controller's Office list of preferred attendees includes local board members, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Council person, Deborah Sotolano, is authorized to attend said virtual training at a cost of $85 for registration.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? I'll abstain.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Read another one, it's a shorty.
You don't read it? I
It's
can
a
do it.
short one. Okay, good.
Doesn't matter. Resolution to authorize resolution 65-2026. Resolution to authorize the town clerk to attend the New York State Association of Tax Receivers and Collectors Annual Conference in Niagara Falls, New York, from June 7th to 10th. Whereas the New York State Association of Tax Receivers has scheduled their annual conference at the Sheraton, Niagara Falls, from June 7th through June 10th, 2026. Now therefore be it resolved that Town Clerk Barbara Fink is authorized to attend training at a cost of $100 for registration. I make a motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Want me to get the next one, Jenny?
That'd be great, thank you.
Resolution 66 of 2026, April 13th, 2026. Resolution to authorize the town of New Baltimore Highway Superintendent and Deputy Highway Superintendent to attend the New York State Association of Towns 2026 Highway School at Ithaca College in Ithaca, New York, from June 1st through the 3rd of 2026. Whereas the New York State Association of Towns has scheduled their 2026 Highway School at Ithaca College in Ithaca, New York, from June 1 through 3, 2026. And whereas the Highway Superintendent and the Deputy Superintendent will share a hotel room, now therefore be it resolved that Highway Superintendent Alan Van Wormer and Highway Superintendent and Deputy Highway Superintendent Scott Van Wormer are authorized to attend the highway school at a cost of $175 each, equaling a total of $350 for their registrations. I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolution 67, 2026, resolution to authorize the town of New Baltimore Highway Superintendent to enter into a rental agreement for use of a pneumatic roller for chip seal projects. Whereas the towns of New Baltimore, Cooksaki, and Athens will all be doing chip seal projects in the month of July. Whereas the contractor who would be hired to provide the chip seal services, Peckham Roads Corporation, charges $3,500 per day for a pneumatic roller. Whereas each of the aforementioned towns will need to use said roller for 2 days for a cost of $7,000 for each town. Whereas the Stevenson Equipment Company will rent a roller for the entire month of July for $4,400. Whereas renting the equipment from the Stevenson Equipment Company will reduce the cost per town to $1,466.67 and provide a cost saving of $5,533.32 to each town. Whereas the highway superintendents of the towns of Cooksaki and Athens each have the authority to pay the rental amount of $1,466.67 without prior approval of their town boards. Whereas the highway superintendents of the aforementioned towns have each provided a written agreement to the town of New Baltimore, which confirms it will reimburse the town of New Baltimore for 1/3 of the rental expenses and will assume payment for any damages incurred while the aforementioned roller is in use by their town. And whereas the Stevenson Equipment Company has confirmed it will note in the rental agreement that it is aware of the 3 towns, each will use the rented roller. Now, therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of New Baltimore authorizes the highway superintendent to 1, sign a rental agreement with the Stevenson Equipment Company for the sum of $4,400. to be paid up front from the town's highway road maintenance contract expenses account, DA 5110.4. And 2, to invoice the town of Cooksaki and the town of Athens each for the amount of $1,466.67 in payment for 1/3 of the total rental cost for the pneumatic roller rental. Make a motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? In favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Motion carried.
Denise, board, I'll read the next two since they're short. So this is resolution 68-2026, April 13th, 2026. Resolution to authorize the town supervisor to execute an agreement for rental of portable standard toilets for use at town parks. Whereas, 2 quotes have been procured for portable standard toilets for Cornell Park, Cecil Halleck Park, and Joseph White Park, and the lowest responsible bidder is Greene County Septic Company. Now therefore be it resolved. The town board of the town of New Baltimore approves the proposal from Greene County Septic Company Incorporated for $4,512.50, which includes delivery, weekly service, and fuel surcharge for each unit, and authorizes the town supervisor to execute said agreement. I make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I guess the motion carries. The resolution carries. So the next one is resolution 69-2026, April 13th, 2026. This is a resolution to approve the 2026 town court audit. Whereas the town of New Baltimore court financial records must be audited every year. Now, therefore be it resolved that town of New Baltimore court records have been dutifully examined by Denise Tabor, town supervisor, and that the fines therein collected have been turned over to the proper officials of the town of New Baltimore as required by law.
I'll make a motion.
I second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. That's you.
Okay, resolution 70 of 2026. Resolution to authorize the town supervisor to pay for the renewal of the town's package insurance policy and the town's cyber insurance policy. Whereas the Reese Group Insurance Agency, Inc. has invoiced the town of New Baltimore for the annual renewal of its package insurance policy in the amount of $50,000, $286.04, including broker fees and the following coverages: property, DIC, flood and earthquake, inland marine, commercial crime, boiler and machinery, general liability, employee benefits liability, automobile liability and physical damage, public officials liability, employment-related practices liability, excess liability, and the annual renewal of its cyber insurance policy in the amount of $2,138.25. Now therefore be it resolved, the town supervisor is authorized to renew said insurance policies for a total cost of $52,424.29. I'll make a motion.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
From last year?
Excuse me?
Did that increase from last year?
Yeah, it's just under $2,000.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion carries.
I'll read this one.
Sure, thank you.
Resolution 71, 2026, April 13th, 2026. Resolution to authorize the town supervisor to sign a memorandum of agreement, MOA, that shall be made part of the collective bargaining agreement between the town of New Baltimore and Teamsters Local 294, dated February 15th, 2021 through December 31st, 2027. Whereas the town of New Baltimore entered into a collective bargaining agreement dated February 15th, 2021 through December 31st, 2027 with the Teamsters Union Local 294. Whereas the town of New Baltimore Town Council passed a resolution on January 5th, 2026 to add June 19th to the town's calendar of holidays. Whereas this local union is requesting that Juneteenth, June 19th, also be added to the list of recognized holidays in the current collective bargaining agreement with the following stipulations. Number one, where a holiday falls on a Saturday, it will be observed on the preceding Friday unless otherwise determined by the town board. Number two, where a holiday falls on a Sunday, it will be observed on the following Monday unless otherwise determined by the town board. And three, at no time shall holiday pay or PTO exceed 9 hours, provided that the hours reflect the normal, regular, commonplace number of hours worked by that employee on that particular day of the week. Now therefore be it resolved, the supervisor of the town of New Baltimore is authorized to sign the memorandum of agreement, MOA. I'll make the motion.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Motion is passed.
Resolution 72, 2026, resolution for the town board to approve a change of the name of a town of New Baltimore road. Whereas the owner of parcel number 5.00-2-3 located at 512 Shady Lane has submitted a proper application requesting a change of the name of said road to 1 Bluebird Lane. Now therefore be it resolved, the town board of the town of New Baltimore agrees to approve the requested change to the name of the road. I make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Just get this next short one. Resolution 73, 2026, resolution for second signatory on 2 town clerk bank accounts. Whereas the property tax and sewer and water bank accounts have been signed with 2 signatures on checks written from accounts ending in 7119 and 7410. Whereas Deputy Town Clerk Jessica Diamond is authorized as the second signatory on said bank accounts to replace Deputy Town Clerk Sandra Trombley. Now therefore be it resolved, a certified copy of this resolution will be forwarded to the DSNB Ravenna branch, and the necessary paperwork will be filed with the bank. Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I don't know where this resolution is.
I'll just get this one too. Resolution 74, 2026. Resolution to authorize the town supervisor to pay for the renewal of the State Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, SPDES permit, SPDES, for the town's wastewater treatment plant. Whereas the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, DEC, administers a centralized process for the renewal of State Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, SPDES, permits in accordance with the Environmental Benefit Permit Strategy and the Uniform Procedures Act. 6 NYCRR 621.11. Whereas the speedies permit for town of New Baltimore expires on 12/31/2026, and whereas the town has submitted an application for the renewal of the town's speedies permit at least 180 days prior to the expiration date of its current permit by the due date of 7/4/2026, as required by law, now therefore be it resolved that the town supervisor is authorized to pay the permit renewal fee of $425 to the DEC. Make a motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
If the board is willing, I'll do these last two. Resolution 75-2026, April 13th, 2026. Resolution to authorize the town highway superintendent to adopt the use of New York State Department of Transportation accident incident.
No, we tabled that one, I'm
Okay,
sorry.
table, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Then the last one.
Do you have the dates, Barb? They're in this one. Thank you.
This is the same number. Okay, this is resolution 76-2026, April 13th, 2026. Resolution to authorize supervisor to pay the audited claims. Whereas the town clerk has presented claims to the town board for audit and review, and whereas the town board has audited claims 2026-0401 to 2026-0459. Now, therefore be it resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized to pay claims 2026-0401 to 2026-0459. Be it further resolved that the town clerk will prepare an abstract and hold it for public review until May 31st, 2026. I make the motion.
A second.
All in favor?
I didn't.
Motion carries.
General, $77,926.47. Highway, $35,193.54. Sewer one, $79,788.74. Sewer two, $885.23. Water two, $3,456.92. Water three, $1,043.20. Street lighting one, $5,477.95. Street lighting two, $537.78. Total $204,309.83.
The upcoming meetings. The town board work meeting, Monday, April 27th at 7 PM. ZBA meeting is Wednesday, May 6th at 7 PM. And then the town board regular meeting will be Monday, May 11th at 7 PM.
We're not having a planning board meeting in May?
I see that.
That's okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Voting is May 6th, planning board 15.
Something found on May 14th? Yeah, so that the planning board's gonna be May 14th. Sorry, guys. No, I just need a motion.
That's what you get for speaking up.
Forgot to sign homework.
Yeah.
I have a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried.
She's like, I can't find it. I don't have it.
It's just such a-
No.